back to episode 3 of Kickin Back, and I'm joined today by the Kickback team, Kirsten, Emma, and Ollie, and special guest today, Jazz Collins. Hello.
Hello.
Writer and director and actor in Out of Your Mind, a production coming out very, very soon. How are we feeling, everyone?
Whoa.
Yes.
So good.
Let's go, honestly.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. How are you today? Like, is everyone good? All in check?
Yeah. Relatively so.
As
Midweek.
as good as you
Honestly.
can be on like a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
It's been a pretty long week, very busy. All right. But to kick this off, Jazz, all right, can you tell us a bit about what the piece is about and its main themes, just to kind of like kick everything off, let the audience get to know what the piece is about. Take it away.
Of course. Oh gosh. Hello, I'm Jazz. So I wrote the piece after Kickback approached, and I was like, "Ooh, let's do some theatre." And I wrote it about sort of the experience of dissociation. It's something that's very sort of I'm passionate about. It's something that we suffer with, deal through, all of that. And when you're looking at media, a media representation of it, there isn't much, and if it is, it's very dramatized and not great, essentially. So I was like, let's throw my own words into the ring and go for it. So yeah, that's the core theme of the piece. The drama student is coming out, but the piece itself is a short film, which is slightly different to how we've sort of done it before. Usually I say a monologue to camera, and now I'm thinking about all the different camera angles and editing tricks and all of that stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to sort of encapsulate the feeling that you'd get. There are sort of different levels of dissociation. I think that's something, and you can dissociate more and to a greater degree, if that makes sense. So I wanted to sort of get the lower levels and sort of the extent to which dissociation happens in the piece. And a lot of that can come with the editing and stuff that comes post performance, which is something that I've been having a lot of fun experimenting with.
Simply editing,
but
it's gonna look amazing, and we can't wait to see it in its entirety. But yes, going off the back of that, you said that it's your first time writing, right? Or like, are you quite new to writing?
So I'm a theatre kid at heart. I study drama, I study theatre, and I originally wanted to pursue performance and acting and stuff, and we did a round of drama schools, didn't get in, and then I was like, what can I do? So I fell into this drama theatre arts degree at Uni of Birmingham, and it's been great. I've been sort of going down various paths and avenues, and last year I sort of discovered writing. I mean, I'd written bits and stuff before, but I was specifically writing for performance events and stuff, so like monologue nights, and the Buff, the Fringe Festival, which was last year, which we wrote a couple of pieces for, and it was something that I sort of fell in love with. I think it's very important and necessary to communicate these sort of things via writing, and it's also incredibly cathartic. It was in the piece as well, it was like writing these things that were in your brain and you can't really sort of pin down, but if you can turn it into words and the words into a play and then communicate that, I think that is, it's something that I'm very lucky to have discovered, I think, and it's only very recently, and it's something that I'm looking to pursue further as well, which is very fun. And I'm a wee bab writer at the minute, but maybe in the future
you'll grow with time, and we're very excited to see your journey. Like, how was the process then as kind of like a wee babby writer?
Yeah, honestly, it's been interesting. So how I write a lot, so I write to perform. I write from an actor's point of view, which is quite interesting to sort of, reflect upon. So a lot of the stuff I've written before, I've written for myself to speak, which, obviously has a very personal touch and is very sort of like, it's not theoretical, if that makes sense. It's not like, oh, I've studied writing, I'm incorporating these techniques into creating this piece. It's more like, this is what is in my brain. I put it on a page and then squiggle it about a bit, and then it's like a piece, which obviously there are different approaches to it. But with this process as well, it's been a lot of sort of thinking about logistics of filming, logistics of recording audio. In it, there's about 20 chorus of voices, TM. So it's getting people to do voice lines as well. So it's like, it's been quite logistical. It's been quite nice to get that as well. Having sort of the being like, hey, does anyone want to get involved in my little project? And then having like so many people come forward and be like, yes, me. That it's just been really lovely. And as well with that, using verbatim bits as well has been really, really eye-opening, I guess. Because towards the start of the process, we basically put out a form for people that suffer with dissociation, so it's not just my one view, and some of those responses we used as verbatim in the piece, which I think is really important. So it's not just my one little viewpoint, because it's something that is very personal, I think, for a lot of people, and I wanted to sort of reflect that personalness in it, which very important.
It is very important. Amazing, thank you. So like I guess Kickback team, what was the thought process behind creating the Kickback collection in the first place? Because obviously Jazz's project is the first of hopefully many under the Kickback collection, but like what kind of like stirred you on to kind of create it and make it a thing in the first place?
I think, well, the sort of mentality behind it was like, we did the 2 short films in the summer, basically, because we couldn't do theatre. So it was like kind of out of like necessity and like being practical and stuff like that. And then like through that experience, we've just kind of went, okay, so we've had to learn a lot of skills through this. We've had a lot of fun with this. This isn't necessarily like a format that we want to drop. So it's about like sort of juggling, because obviously theatre is our main passion. How do we pursue that as our sort of main goal, but still be able to continue this kind of short film sort of format? And so outreach has always been something we've always been quite passionate about. And so we saw that, okay, the short film format works really nicely for outreach, and just like contacting different creators, trying to get as many voices in the room as possible. And just being able to promote these voices whilst using an interesting and very accessible formats, whilst we get to pursue our sort of big fancy theatrical pieces.
Amazing. Anyone else got anything to say? Or
I mean, Holly's covered it for me. No, go Kirsten, you have things to say. I was just agreeing.
I was going to say as well, just having like the digital presence online makes it more accessible for people, because obviously like in-person performances, once we kind of get back into that, like only like kind of select few. So by putting stuff out online, hopefully we can reach more people, which will be good.
100%. Emma, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just sort of agreeing. I mean, I think my Wi-Fi phased out a bit as Ollie was talking, so I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to repeat what he said. But in, you know, accessibility and stuff, and also kind of expanding our company, we think it's really nice to sort of welcome Jazz and then the whole of the cast that they've collected into our little family, and just sort of like grow it a little bit and have it online so loads of people can see, and we can all use it on our CVs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really great. And I haven't been massively involved with the process either, because I've been more pre-production for the surprise. It's going to be really nice for me to kind of watch. Yeah, it's going to be really nice for me to watch something that we've kind of got as a company that's a total surprise for me, which is, it's going to be sick.
And I am so excited. Like, Jazz, you're now part of the family. Very excited.
So I'm honoured. I'm like, oh my gosh, so many lovely people making amazing theatre. I'm like, well,
hello.
Here we are.
So like, guys, why Jazz? I mean, Jazz is lovely and amazing, but like, what made you kind of like approach Jazz and their work?
It was sort of like, I remember we had a meeting in my kitchen. It was like our first in-person meeting, because we were overdoing the workshops in Amersham, and you pitched it to us, Ollie, and you just went, the first person I think we should look at this is Jazz, and we all just went, yeah. Like it was everyone kind of, I think we all had it in the back of our mind, but it took kind of Ollie's pitch to really be like everyone was thinking the same thing.
Wow.
I think, yeah, there's an element as like, you know, Jazz is someone we knew, so like, and we've seen her content before, and so like we knew it was good, we knew it was reliable, so it was someone that's like great to work with, and so, you know, it was just like, this is just kind of the perfect person to launch this thing. And then, you know, we would establish it with Jazz, and then once it's a bit more established, we could start to be a bit more sort of like, ooh, let's start working with people that we haven't worked with before, and like be a bit more sort of like outreachy and sort of looking into places. But yeah, it was just like, you know, Jazz was always going to be the perfect person to start this thing off with.
Jazz is just the best, is basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are far too cute for your own good. Oh my gosh. But yeah, thank you guys. That's very nice.
So Jazz, so you've already kind of like touched upon what the filming and scheduling kind of like process was like, but could you go into that a little bit more? And were there any particular challenges you faced like during the whole filming process?
Yeah, definitely. So it's my most ambitious project to date. So in the past, I'd usually only recorded like spoken word to camera in like one session, or like I think Darkroom, it was basically shot in 4 separate bits, so it was like 4 essentially monologues, but this incorporates other actors, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not the one saying these words, crazy. And yeah, so obviously logistical, like organizing around other people's schedules, and all of that. It was interesting to sort of break it down, because a lot of the contributions from other people are audio lines, voiceover, which means you can be a lot more flexible. You can be like, hey, read these things, here are the lines, can you record them and send them by this date? So a lot of that falls on other people, which is quite nice, so you don't have to like hyper focus and sort of always chase that up. Actually filming, a lot of things have been shot in specific locations, so there's a train sequence, so we had to shoot that on a train, and I was like,
wow, how was that?
It was interesting. The stations of Birmingham are are great. And it was a lot of finding the moments where we could shoot, and we did shoot, and I'm very happy with that sequence. Going to the woods for a dance and film was great. And yeah, it's a lot of, okay, now I have to think about where I shoot this. I have to think about what I'm wearing. I have to think about props and things, and it's sort of incorporating like stage management-ish, but turning it to screen management, which has been fun. I think, yeah, logistically, it's been more than in the past, but it's all been sort of like, okay, how do I do this? Let's plan it out. Okay, these are the steps, let's do it. So I think having that planning stage was very useful, and has saved a lot of headaches, which has been nice.
Nice. It does sound like a very long process, but like you seem on top of everything. You're just simply, yeah, just on top of everything. Amazing. I admire you a lot. So back to Kickback team. Kind of like, what was it like producing this project? So obviously, this is this is the first project under Kickback Collection. So kind of like, how was it like overseeing everything this time round?
You want to take this one, Kirsten? You're kind of been in like the lead producer.
Yeah, I guess like from like our perspective, we've just been making sure to keep up communication, and try to like offer help when we can, and like give some of our resources that we've like accumulated over our time as a company as best as we can, and like script reading for so kind of like that side of things to try and also like mental health and well-being, just making sure like everything's going okay and like nobody's stressing out too much, because obviously we want it to be as like fun, exciting and like productive, I guess, experience as possible. I think one of the nicest things actually is being given an idea and being able to kind of like see it being worked through, of like somebody else and somebody else bringing their own ideas, but like relating it into kind of Kickback's ethos has been really good as well, which, yeah, I agree with Jazz has been such a great person to kind of kickstart this off.
This is just a jazz fan club at this point.
I was not ready for these emotions to be thrown my way when I was like, yeah, I'll record a podcast. I was like, oof. But yeah.
Everyone else get in line. Like,
it's Jazz's world, we're just living in it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
100% right. So everyone, kind of, what was the biggest thing you have learned and taken away from this project? Which is quite a loaded question, to be fair, so you can think on it.
Yeah, I think, I guess, to kick things off, I mean, for me, it's time management and all of that. And I think I now know the sort of level of like commitments and like all of the steps that go into it. And like I was like, oh yeah, that'll be fine. And then I'm like, oh wow, it has been a lot, but it's been like we've been able to slot it in and been able to sort of manage that. But now it's like my next project that I'll do, because these have become a thing for me. This is like my third thing, and I'm like, there'll be a fourth, there'll be a fifth, there'll be many more. It's just as a generally chaotic person, I think taking the time to plan and manage that side of it is so important, and something that after doing it for this I now value. And I'm like, yes, plan your time. It will save you so much stress. So yes, that.
Wiser words have never been spoken. Thank you, Jazz. Anyone else? What have you guys learned?
I think what I've learned is the wonderful world of admin and just like endless paperwork and having to just spend like hours contacting like fucking, oh, I'll bleep that out. God damn it. Like we got so far into it without any swear words.
But like all of our other pieces have the worst language ever.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, like at this point, if we're bleeping out stuff from our podcast, we're taking a 180.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fuck it.
Embrace the swears.
Yeah. So yeah, just like sitting in a seminar room for like and just having to contact like 30 people for like an hour, going like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? And like playing the fun wasting game of like, who's gonna reply? Is anyone gonna reply? We'll see. Yeah.
The thrill of not knowing.
The thrill of not knowing. That's the best lesson.
All right, Kirsten, do you have anything?
I was going to say, I think just like an awareness of time as well, project management, and kind of giving space for things to like happen, I guess. Yeah, admin, anything like that is always a fun one to keep up to date with.
Always fun. Emma, how about you?
I mean, mine feels like a really bad thing to end on because I've been so distant from this project. I don't know whether I'm allowed to sort of answer it. I mean, yeah, just I guess it's just sort of being a support. So like taking on some of the other stuff to do with Kickback and kind of heading up other stuff, and I guess from my perspective, having not being so intimately connected with it, it's trying to, we're figuring out how, when we reconfigure the cogs to work on a project, how the machine's going to run. I think that's kind of been, where I can place myself as sort of an auxiliary person to still maintain, that we've got an output of our other content and we're working on our other project and stuff like that without, asking Ollie to do stuff or Kirsten to do stuff because they're busy with this project. So it again, like time management and balancing, I guess.
Hey, amazing. Looks like we've taken a lot from this project, which is all good. Like one thing I took from that is just admin, just so much paperwork, and honestly, so well done, guys. So Jazz, kind of just to round off the podcast, who do you hope your piece reaches? Like, who is kind of like the audience you have in mind?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was something that changed a lot throughout the process. I think what I've generally said is, for people that don't suffer with dissociation, it's sort of an educational tool, and to sort of communicate those experiences and try and get a deeper understanding. And people that do suffer, knowing like you're not alone in it, and hearing other viewpoints is helpful, I think, and can help sort of generate some peace in that. And I know it certainly did for me when writing it and sort of hearing other people's stories and stuff. So yeah, I hope it helps people, basically.
I'm sure it
whatever
will.
Ways.
I think kind of what you said earlier about the lack of representation, I think your piece is very much needed, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, and it's going to help a lot of people feel seen. So you're doing a great thing. Leading off on that, on your works, can you give us any hints as to what you're working on in the future, or is it all like very hush hush, or can you give us any hints?
That's a good question. I'm looking to write a play over Christmas, and propose it to one of the societies at the University of Birmingham, which we will direct, fingers crossed, if it gets there. It's going to be very, very gay, is my contribution for that. And then, yeah, just poetry bits. I want to dive into that. And also sleep, that's, I think that's, yeah, that's something that we're looking forward to over the Christmas break. But yeah.
You deserve that sleep, honestly, because I feel like whenever I see you, you're always like so busy. I mean, booked and busy, great, but like have a nap, oh my god.
Honestly, naps work wonders, tell you that.
They do. But we're so excited to see what you do in the future. We do love the Good Gay project. I I will come and watch. You know, I'm going to be there. But thank you so much for talking with us. We're so excited for Out of Your Mind premiere this Saturday. It's going to be great. Okay, but yeah, does anyone have any final things they want to say to our lovely audience?
I guess thank you for having me on the podcast. It's been delightful, and you all are delightful. And I'm going to throw some back affection that has been so thrust my way over this past half an hour. But yeah, support Kickback. They're really cool. And get involved in the Kickback Collection because it's been genuinely amazing. So yeah, do it.
It's so wholesome. Thank you for the little plug. That was very so wholesome. Yeah. Anyone else want to say anything before we sign off?
Come watch our stuff. We put a lot of time in
watch us.
Watch our stuff, please.
Please. We're desperate, please. But yeah, I think if that's everything, thank you so much for watching, fellow Kickbackies. Yes, that is sticking. And yes, watch Out of Your Mind this Saturday. Thank you so much. Farewell. Goodbye.
Bye.